Hello and welcome to the Cubbears fan report for November the 6th, 2024. Yesterday was election day and I'm glad that's behind us. I'm not going to comment on how I thought it should have gone, but I did vote, and it's important that everybody voted, in my opinion. I don't care who you were voting for. The important thing was to get out and vote. Well, the Bears are also not behind because they're in the middle of a season that is starting to not go well. And it's up to Matt Eberflus to bring them back into competition because they have lost two in a row. And they have turned wins into losses, especially against Washington. And the Cardinals game was a terrible one, too. The Bears drafted Caleb Williams, number one overall, and I think he deserves to be the first quarterback taken. But the Bears weren't ready. So I was arguing to keep Justin Fields and trade the pick and load up that offensive line. Because right now the offensive line is in danger of getting Caleb Williams killed. So let's talk about the offensive lines that the Bears have had when they've gone to the Super Bowl. In 1985, they had Jay Hilgenberg at center, Keith Van Horn at tackle, Jimbo Covert at tackle, Tom Thayer, and Mark Bortz. Mark Bortz was the only guy who wasn't a high draft pick on that line. Tom Thayer is still active in Chicago media, and I think he's a smart guy, and he was an effective guard who they picked up before the season started. Jim McMahon still got hurt from time to time, but he was an effective quarterback. And in 1985, I was a senior at the University of Chicago, and I would bet kids from Minnesota or wherever the Bears were playing, hey, I'll give you 20 points in that Dallas game, and the people would take it. And I didn't bet a lot of money because I didn't have a lot of money. I bet them $5 or $10 or something. And I would go collect the deal because the Bears were not losing to anybody. The loss to Miami was a fluke that year as a ball went off the helmet of whoever was playing, one of the tackles of the Bears, and flew up into the air and turned into a touchdown pass off the defensive tackle's helmet. That's how they were scoring. The other thing I want to point out is the 2005 Bears, who had Olin Kreutz at center, and he was a good guy, and he's still in Chicago media. They had Roberto Garza, Fred Miller, John Tate, Reuben Brown, Terrence Metcalf, some names I can remember. This year, the Bears have Coleman Shelton at center, who has gotten better as of late. They got Tevin Jenkins, who's prone to injuries. He only gets hurt when he sneezes, and I can say the same thing about Nate Davis. They had Matt Pryor, Braxton Jones, who was replaced by Kieran Amagaji, who tore his thigh muscle in college, and he's barely able to get out there, but he showed some effective snaps. He's a project. The Bears could have traded that Caleb Williams pick and solidified that offensive line. They have Ryan Poles, who was an offensive lineman before he went into management, and why he has not built that offensive line, I don't know. I've been saying that since the John Fox days. The Bears need to build an offensive line so they can protect the quarterback. You can't learn how to play quarterback in the NFL if you're running for your life like Bryce Young did last year. That's a big reason Bryce Young was not effective. But I think I was right now, not because Caleb Williams is a terrible quarterback, because he can't be a good quarterback when he's running for his life, and you can't have a good offensive coordinator when your quarterback's running for his life. You can't establish a run game. The Bears needed to finish building before they wanted to invest heavily in quarterback. This could become Tyson Bagent's team if we're not careful. That's the real problem that we're seeing with the Bears, because they're not protecting their quarterback. You cannot be effective. And now they're about to get their head coach fired. And if they have to do that because they didn't build this team right, they probably got to fire Ryan Poles too. They got to fire everybody, which has been a habit in the Bears' history of drafting a guy number one overall or in their lineup, number one, either first or second, and then having to fire the head coach. This is the one chance they had to put it together. Everybody's bragging about how the Bears did not earn that pick. But the problem with not having earned a pick is they're playing like they earned a pick because the offensive line is horrible. The offensive line has no depth. They have an injury, and everybody's got a shift, and they don't have a consistent formulation. The Bears will play New England this week, and a lot of people are excited because New England's not very good this year. Some people think they're the worst team in the league, and that's kind of what the Bears need. But after that, they're going into their division. They got to play everybody in the division, and they got to play San Francisco. And without the offensive line, I think it could get very bad. And I think Eberflus is a good coach. He did screw up and turn a victory into a defeat against Washington. The Bears would have 5 wins right now had they held on to win that game. They were really moving well good. This is the Cubbears Fan Report. Please support my sponsor, Robin Hood Brewery. And they have karaoke on Thursday, and they have microbrewed beer, which I enjoy. And I like visiting with Dustin, who said, I'm a friend, because he is a friend. He's a nice guy to sit and talk to, and we discussed the brewing of beer. If you like mass-produced beers, they got them, but I don't. So I like microbrewed beers, and they got those too. Very friendly group and decent food. Cubbears Fan Report. Please like and subscribe and support my sponsors. Thank you so much.